Hey y'all, I'm Val with Our Forever Farm. So it's busy in the kitchen today. I just got through making crumble cookies. If you haven't saw that video, go watch it. It's so good. The cookies are excellent, I will tell you that. Now we're gonna make white chicken cheese chili. White chicken cheese chili. Yeah, I think that's the name of it. So I started out by dicing an onion in my chopper. I put butter in my iron skillet. We're gonna make a roux, kind of like a roux, or the cream of anything soup. We're gonna kind of make that. So we're starting out with 2 sticks of butter, and we're gonna melt that. I always add a little olive oil in my pan with my butter to keep the butter from burning. So basically what we're doing is we're making a roux. As you can see on the back burner, I've got some water boiling with a little salt in it for my pasta. Once my butter has melted, I add the onions. And I'm going to cook those until they're soft. As many of you know, we're on a pantry challenge. Well, I'm out of the yellow onions, which is what I would use. But I did have some red onions, so we're using what we have. And it's going to work just fine. Next, we're going to add a few garlic cloves. I believe I got 5 out of this jar. And I'm just going to mince these with my chopper. I just love this little chopper. An unmet friend, a YouTube fan, sent me this, and I use it all the time. Next, we're adding the minced garlic to the onions and the butter. And we'll just cook this for just a minute or two. So next we're going to add some flour, all-purpose flour. We're going to add probably about 3/4 a cup. The original recipe will be in the description box though. But what we're doing is we're just making a roux. So you're just going to stir your flour around, just like you were making gravy. But what we're making is a white sauce. So what we're doing right now is we're cooking our flour. Anytime you add flour to a meal of any kind, you want to cook your flour. And this will also thicken our sauce. My water is boiling, and so now I'm going to add my lasagna noodles. This is not chili, y'all. This is lasagna, I promise. And I'm just going to add them a few at a time. I add salt to my water. Sometimes I add oil. I don't know which one is the best, but whatever you prefer. And you want to cook these noodles like maybe halfway, because remember, we're going to bake this also. I've switched eyes because I wanted my noodles in the front where I could see them better. And now I'm adding 2 cups of chicken broth. Looks like I should have got a bigger pan, but I think it'll work just fine. We're going to cook this down just a minute, stirring as we go. All right, next we're going to add just a little bit of milk, and I start out with 2 cups. Just making like a white sauce. We're going to cook that down just a little bit. We just want it to be thick and creamy. That's going to take just a few minutes. Our noodles are cooking down. We don't want to cook them too much because we're going to bake them too. So we just want to get them kind of halfway done. All right, so next what I'm doing, this hasn't come to a boil yet, but it will. I need that eye right there. Do y'all have a favorite eye? So I'm going to add some basil leaves in this sauce. And I'm going to add some oregano leaves. And I like to kind of crunch it with my fingers. These are dried. Okay, next I'm adding just a little bit of salt because we've got our cheese that's going in here, and we have our salted butter. And I'm using quite a lot of pepper because I like pepper. The sauce is getting thick. That's what we want. We want it to be thick, like a gravy. Our noodles should be done, or halfway done anyway. And I'm going to turn this down. So luckily, Walmart delivery knows that I love Parmesan cheese, fresh Parmesan cheese, and that's what they gave me the last time that I ordered. But since we're on the Pantry Challenge, and if you haven't heard about that, Three Rivers Homestead is doing a Three Rivers Challenge, and it's using what you have for the next 2 months. You can set your own budget. I set $35. I told about it in the last video in the cookie crumble recipe, the crumble cookie recipe, and I'll be talking more about it, but it's going to be fun. And thankfully, I'm really stocked up right now, so I have a lot of stuff. I'm going to add about a half a cup of Parmesan to this. It's going to be so good. I also added mozzarella cheese to this. I don't know how I missed filming that. And then I turned the eye off. So I'm going to taste of this just a little bit. Taste of it. It's really hot. The eye's off, the cheese is in, the spices are in, everything's in. It's delicious. This is going to be so good. So I had some spinach, frozen spinach, in the freezer, and I thawed it out, and I've let it drain in a colander all morning. But as you can see, I can still get lots of liquid out of it. So what I'm trying to do is I put it in a cheesecloth or a towel, and I'm just squeezing all that spinach to try to get all the liquid I can out. And until it stops, you don't want a soggy lasagna. So we want to just keep squeezing it, And then I'm going to drain my pasta. So I'm going to let this sit right here. It doesn't look like much. It doesn't look like much at all, does it? And I'm going to let it kind of dry out on the part that's not wet. And then my colander has spinach in it, but I don't really care. So I'm going to drain my noodles in there. I cooked these noodles about halfway because we are baking them. And I didn't want them all the way cooked. But I do want them cool when I put them on the lasagna. So I'm going to run cold water on them to stop the cooking process. And just let them sit here and drain. So I like to pour my lasagna out on a towel and just let it kind of dry out. So what I'm doing here is I'm just laying my noodles out on a towel. You do not have to do this. You can let them drain in the colander. I'm just getting it all set up where I can put my lasagna together. And you can see some of them stick together. They may break. It's okay. It's all right. So next I spray my baking dish. I think this is a 9x13. And then I add sauce in the bottom of it. And you can see this is a cheesy sauce. We're just spreading a little bit on the bottom of the pan. So next, after I make a mess, we're going to start with our noodles. And we're going to lay them on top of the little bit of sauce. And there's a little broken piece. We'll find something to patch that with. Add ricotta cheese. You also can use cottage cheese. And we're just going to spread that around on top of our noodles. Next we're going to put our chicken. And this is a chicken that I cooked. And I just did a dry rub on it of seasoned salt and just baked it in the oven, and we're just going to layer it in the lasagna. Well, I didn't have the video on, but I'm adding the chicken, all that I have. I've chopped it up from a chicken that I cooked last week. So I wanted to have it for this. A lot of times I'll cook a couple of chickens and just have them in the refrigerator for recipes that need already cooked chicken. Now we're going to add more noodles. And we're going to do about, let's see, about maybe a third of this. We're going to pour quite a lot on here. We're just gonna cover those noodles with that. Y'all see how cheesy this is? It's so good though. So here's where we take our well-drained frozen spinach and we just sprinkle it out through the lasagna. And you don't think there's much there, but there's plenty for what we're looking for. And you can leave this out if you don't like spinach. But we love spinach. See? Next, we're adding more mozzarella cheese. And I don't know, I just cover it well. Just cover it very well. I'm gonna add some Parmesan. Okay, now we're on the home stretch here. We're gonna add more noodles. Let's try to get a piece that's not broke. Since we've got some extra, it looks like, and I'm gonna put some on the edge here. And then we're gonna add more cheese. I need a hot pad this time. That was pretty hot. We're gonna add more of the sauce. And I'm just gonna do it all. I'm just gonna spread it around. Cover it all.
Now you can layer this however you like. I'm ending it by topping it off with mozzarella cheese. I used all of my ricotta, but if you have more ricotta left, layer it in there. Just make as many layers as you want. But it'll be real pretty topped off with mozzarella cheese.
And this is ready for the oven. So at this point, if you wanted to freeze it, you can freeze it just like this with instructions on the outside telling how to bake it. I love freezer stuff. Fast food, y'all, fast food. It's going in the oven at 350 for about 30 to 35 minutes. And then we wait and clean our kitchen. While we're cooking that, you notice that I have lots of noodles left over. I have some Parmesan cheese left, fresh Parmesan cheese, and I have the green can that has the Parmesan in it. So this will all go in the refrigerator, and I'll probably tomorrow make a lasagna to freeze. It won't be the white chicken lasagna, it will be a lasagna, just a red sauce lasagna. And I'll probably bring y'all along to watch that too. Pantry challenge, you have to save everything you got. See, little bits of this, little bits of that.
White chicken cheesy lasagna. It was absolutely delicious. We failed to get a taste test, but I'm telling you, you want to make this. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all go cook something.